Hey, everybody, welcome back to Home Defense Shakedown, and I'm going to get right into it. I have permission to share this story. I was out at a client's house. He kind of pulled me aside, and this isn't the first time it's happened. He kind of pulled me aside before we went in and started really getting into the good stuff, and wanted to let me know that he has extensive military background, that he was in a elite unit, his words, not mine. And he thought that he didn't need a whole lot of looking after during these scenarios. He wanted me to focus more on his family because he didn't think he needed it. And of course, I said, fine. We'll go through the paces, we'll do our thing. Again, it's not my first rodeo. So we went in, and I could tell after the first scenario that he was a bit rusty. And he could tell that he was a bit rusty. And it's not uncommon, especially for the highly trained former military, former LEO, to get frustrated during the time that we're out there. They envision their skill level being up here, kind of where they left off, and it's not that high. And so they get into these scenarios, and it's just not working out for them like they planned. They do things that they tell me later after the scenario, that was really dumb. What was I thinking? And they start getting really frustrated. And it really kind of starts to weigh on them. And of course, I always try to kind of bring them aside and say, hey, look, you're way ahead of 99.9% of the people that have similar training, maybe half the training that you have in your life. You're still way ahead of the 99.9% that don't go through the program, because they're still out there thinking, hey, I'm a high speed, no drag guy. I mean, I was in this unit. I've got all this training. It's going to come back to me. I don't need to dabble too much in the training process, because it's just going to flow back at me, and I'm going to remember everything. My body's going to respond like I remember it. Everything is going to be great. Just focus on something else, my family or whatever. You're not here for me. And when they find out that doesn't work out, they get frustrated. And usually it works out one or two ways. One, either they get vocal, and they kind of let me know that way that they're frustrated, not at me, but at themselves. Or they kind of compress down a little bit. Maybe they started off very enthusiastic, but I can tell that they've had a little bit of an attitude change. And what I try to do is I try to bring those clients aside and say, look, we're out here. Number one, obviously, is to get some good training, which you're going to receive. You're going to be way ahead of where you were before we got out here. And we're here to have fun. We're here to enjoy ourselves. I didn't start this business to go to a client's house and put myself through hell, put them through hell. It's got to be a huge element of fun. And I really want to focus on that. You don't have to not have fun to have really good, intense training. Getting shot in the chest, with one of our marking rounds, it hurts. But a lot of my clients will get frustrated initially, and then they kind of laugh it off, because it's like, holy smokes, that was a kind of a shocker to the system. And it kind of wakes them up a little bit. Like, wow, that was not good. I shouldn't have done that. And they get something out of it eventually. So if you're apprehensive, and I had a permission, by the way, to share this story. I don't know if I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but he thought it was important that other people like him that might be in a similar situation to know that they're not alone. And on the phone, I've talked to clients where I can tell they're just apprehensive about being tested. They kind of want to remember the good old days. They want to kind of not test their ability, because if it's untested, then they're still at that level in their head. And it's hard. It's a hard fact to acknowledge that once you get out there and actually practically going through stuff and physically going through stuff. It's a little bit eye-opening, and it can be a little bit disheartening. So don't take it that way. Understand that what you're doing is fantastic. What you're doing is in the best interest of your family. Focus on getting something out of the time that we're there. Not so much get down on yourself about your performance, because I can assure you, you're going to do amazing. Again, you're going to be way better off when we pack up and leave than prior to us getting there. Without a doubt, you will be. So there, I wanted to share that story with you. Let you know that we're all human. And again, I try to make everything as fun as possible, because if you're not having fun, it's just not worth doing, in my opinion. So expect to have fun and expect to learn something and expect to be more proficient by the end of the evening. Have fun. It's a short life, so we need to get as much out of it as we can. And this is part of it. Until the next video, I'll talk to you later. Thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.